Yeah, hello everyone, Nervin Reacts here, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be reacting to England, the Broad Street Pump. You Know Nothing, Jon Snow by Part 1 by Extra History. I almost said oversimplified. So anyway, yeah, I'm back. Sorry that I couldn't upload anything for the last few days. Like I said in my YouTube post, I was sick, and I'm actually still sick, but I'm now a lot better actually. So yeah, hopefully I am cured soon. Now I don't really know anything about about this topic. All I know is that it's in the 1800s. It's about a water pump in England, obviously, hence the title, and that it's related to cholera. Cholera, which was one of history's most deadliest diseases, and since we're still experiencing a pandemic, and I'm sick with a cold, I thought, might as well react to this. Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
The noxious vapors that cause disease are known as miasma. The miasma spreads through the...
Wait a minute. I think I've heard this before. I've heard this voice before. Oh wait. Isn't this a voice line from Skyrim? I've never personally played the game, but I've watched other people play it and heard, you know, watch clips of it and... Wait, let me just,
Vapors that cause disease are known as miasma. The miasma spreads through the air, and as it is breathed in, the human being becomes possessed of sickness.
Yeah, this is from Skyrim. Wow, that's a nice touch.
Not sure that's how it works.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Jon Snow, yes, really, was no lord's son. He was born to a coal yard
Wait, where's the subtitles? I swear I put subtitles. Okay.
worker in one of the poorest neighborhoods of York. It was 1813. Napoleon had just retreated from Russia, and the Industrial Revolution in England was in full swing.
Yup, the Industrial Revolution has begun, baby, and ironic. It's kind of funny and ironic how during that time, Britain, largest empire of that time, was beat by Germany in terms of industrialization. I'm gonna turn off these captions because apparently they don't work. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Young Snow's mind outpaced his setting. He was a perspicacious youth, always curious and inquisitive, always digging into whatever he found. His mother noticed her child's perpetually active mind and swore to herself that he would be no coal hand. She took a small inheritance that she had come into and paid to send him to school. He took to schooling like nothing else. By the time he was 14, he was apprenticed to a doctor in Newcastle, and it was here that he would first meet the specter that would haunt the rest of his life: cholera. You see, cholera had its roots in India, but with the increase in trade and transport in the 19th century, it crept its way up to Russia, then crawled westward through Europe, first making its way to London, and then to Newcastle in 1831. But so many were struck so fast by the disease that the doctor who Snow was apprenticed to was overloaded. And so it was at the age of 18 that Jon Snow was sent alone into the horror of the coal slums to treat the coal workers dying of this disease. And make no mistake,
Yeah, most people today would be surprised that an 18-year-old is an official doctor, but back then, not really, you know, because, you know, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, let's continue.
mistake, cholera is one of the most terrifying diseases out there. It doesn't cause the
Yep, absolutely true. And it's caused by one of the grossest, and its cause is very, very gross and disgusting. Cholera is, if I remember correctly, cholera is caused when one's fails to separate drinking water from sewage water. So, yeah, a very disgusting cause.
Unimaginable mortality rate of the plague, smallpox, or even some strains of influenza, but it's a horrific disease to contract. A disease whose horror is in how it manifests, how it takes over a person's body. It is swift and utterly wretched. Cholera can take a healthy person and leave them a husk overnight, and its onset is sudden. A person can be walking down the street, and then all of a sudden they'll grab their stomach and fall to the ground, spewing vomit and diarrhea. They'll continue to expel diarrhea at up to 20 liters a day until their skin becomes turgid and their blood turns to sludge, becoming too dehydrated and thick to circulate due to how much fluid the person's lost. Then the organs shut down one by one, and the person dies not directly because of an action of the disease, but because they've lost so much fluid that their body can no longer form the plasma it needs to keep itself alive. And
oh yeah, I forgot about how the body needs fluid to create plasma. This white cholera is no joke. We may have solved it now, but reportedly there are still some cases of cholera out there.
And all the things Jon Snow had learned as an apprentice achieved nothing. From house to house he'd walk, trying to apply every technique known to medicine at the time to treat the sick. Bleeding, opium, strong herbs to keep off the miasma. All of these things had no effect, and patient after patient died. Even when he tried giving them water, no matter how much water he gave them, they'd appear better for a few short hours, then they would soon sink back down to torpor, and finally death. So, despite his training, one by one as he made his rounds, he left his patients' blue-pale corpses behind. His idea to rehydrate them was correct, but the medical community was only just beginning to understand that the excessive diarrhea not only caused a loss of water, but a loss of sodium as well, which is a key component of blood plasma. And it wouldn't be until the 20th century that the major breakthrough was made, when it was discovered that drinking glucose would help a cholera-ravaged intestinal system take up the saline it so desperately needed. And so Jon Snow's patients died. But as an apprentice, he'd kept meticulous journals with his observations and theories. He had seen that coal workers would often be struck down by cholera deep in the coal pits, far from the graveyards, swamps, or sewage pools that the infectious miasma was thought to seep from. So he hypothesized that there must be some—
Yeah, miasma. Now, many people wonder, why did humanity believe that miasma was the cause for so many diseases, was the cause for disease for such a long time? Well, well, I don't really know the answer to that. I forgot. All I know is that it was just one of the basic principles of medical knowledge at that time, and to try to deny it would cause you to look foolish or stupid. So yeah, no one really tried to debunk the miasma theory. So yeah, it stayed well for centuries. And the whole bloodletting thing, the reason they did that was because they thought that it would by letting the blood out, the toxins that caused the disease would also come out, but that only caused them to lose precious fluids that the body already desperately needs. So yeah.
Something else going on. He didn't know exactly what, but he tried to express to local doctors that rather than miasma, there was something that could persist in water and be transmitted from person to person that caused disease. And they all told him, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." And so, as the cholera epidemic eventually passed, as mysteriously as it had come, Jon Snow moved on to other work. He bounced between apprenticing for a few other doctors, until in 1836 he went to London to begin his formal education in medicine. And he was a man who loved education. In 1 year, he completed the schooling necessary to get a license as a general practitioner. Then he got his apothecary's license. Then he received a bachelor's and a doctorate in medicine, which apparently wasn't a requirement for practicing medicine at the time.
Wow, he got 4 of those in just 1 year. This man right here is as smart as 2 Einsteins. Well, probably not as smart as Einstein, obviously, but you get the point. He's smart AF.
And finally, he qualified to join the Royal College of Surgeons, which is about as rad a doctor thing as you could do in those days. During this period, John began doing serious study on anesthesia. You see, before Snow, most doctors of the day would just pour some chloroform on a rag and toss it over their patient's face. Nighty-night, see you in a few hours, if you're lucky. But Snow began to scientifically test dosages and assess what mixtures at what times were the most effective. His work revolutionized anesthesiology. In fact, his work was so acclaimed, he even twice anesthetized the Queen herself. And the medical community—
Oh, good for him.
He finally said, "You know something, Jon Snow." But he had never forgotten cholera, that specter that had been burned into him in his youth. And in 1848, when John was 35, cholera returned to haunt London. This time, he was determined not to let it win. He knew cholera wasn't just the result of bad air, and he was determined to prove it. He reached out to all of his connections in the medical community and tracked down the first case of the new outbreak, a sailor named John Harnold. He had a lead. He went and immediately talked to the physician who treated Mr. Harnold, only to find out that he had treated another man in the exact same room Mr. Harnold rented 8 days after Mr. Harnold died. The case was afoot. John suspected contagion, perhaps from soiled bed linens that had gone unwashed after the first death. Not miasma from some poison floating in the air. No, this disease was transferred from one man to another. He was sure of it. He just needed proof. Cases began to pop up all over London, and he raced from one lead to the next, interviewing patients and physicians to see if he could draw the link. He was told by one person after another that the pain started in their intestines, which led him to believe that the disease must be caused by something they ingested rather than something they inhaled. Otherwise, wouldn't the disease start in the nose or the throat or the lungs? So, obviously not all of his reasoning.
In regards to that, if you think about when the thought first comes to you, it makes sense. But if you really think about it, it doesn't really, because diseases don't care which part of the body they come in. They just come in and target their supposed target. Like for example, wait, I'm trying to think of one. Like for example, the common cold. It's caused by droplets and closeness, etc., etc. Yet it doesn't happen first in the eyes or the hands, blah blah blah. So yeah, diseases don't really care where they come in. They just care about doing their job.
Was perfect, but it did lead him down the right path in this case. He theorized that the diarrhea caused by cholera might not only be a symptom, but also how the disease was spread. Now, because the term germs was frowned upon by many in the medical profession at the time, he started writing about—
Wait, really? Oh, I thought that this was the time when the germ theory came about. Huh.
How cholera was caused by a self-multiplying poison found in the water contaminated by fecal matter. He did a case study. He found a street where on one side all the waste poured out by the residents flowed toward the well they got their drinking water from, whereas on the other side the waste flowed away from their well. He surveyed all those living on either side of the street. On the side where the well water mixed with the sewage, almost all of the inhabitants were laid low. On the other side of the street, only one person succumbed to cholera. He had it. He had his proof. He wrote furiously, detailing it all out, and then raced to the presses. He'd done it!
Excuse me, guys, I need to sneeze. I can't control it. Control it, okay? I can't just tell the bacteria inside me, hey, I'm recording a video, could you not cause me to sneeze? So, yeah. Sorry, but, just deal with it.
His pamphlet circulated the city. The most learned minds of the day heard what he discovered, and they said, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." Join us next time as Jon Snow goes full statistical Sherlock Holmes to show that cholera is spread through the water, and invents the science of epidemiology in the process.
Okay, so that was a good episode. I can't wait to check out the other three. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say because I don't really know much about the Broad Street Pump. Yeah, once again, sorry for not posting in a few days. I was bedridden and sick, but here I am now, so yeah. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe. Check out my Facebook page, link is in the description, as well as the original video by extra credits down below. So yeah, that's all for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye.